Look closely at this YouTuber. Do you notice something off? This might seem like just another mukbang video, something you half watch as you enjoy your own, less camera-worthy meal. But right now, we need your full attention. Notice how she keeps raising her arms, drawing your attention to something suspicious. Were these bandages proof of the creator's clumsiness, or hints to something much darker? Behind these seemingly ordinary mukbang videos is a disturbing reality of blackmail, enslavement, and torture at the hands of multiple men, as one creator smiled for the camera while she fought for her life behind the scenes. Junyong, more famously known as Tzuyang, began her mukbang career in 2018 on streaming platforms Africa TV and YouTube. Her enormous eating capacity and her charming personality quickly caught attention, and it wasn't long before Tzuyang's YouTube channel amassed over 10 million subscribers and her videos began ranking in millions of views every week. Yes, Tzuyang became a mukbang goddess of sorts and was even named as South Korea's most beloved YouTuber in a Gallup Korea survey and given a guest role promoting the Netflix drama Hellbound. She was even successful enough to open up her own rice cake restaurant. Outside of her fame, Junyong was also known for her philanthropic efforts and has donated over 200 million Korean won, approximately 146,000 US dollars, to the Sangna orphanage over the past 5 years. Despite her lighthearted content, a growing number of fans couldn't help but notice the few cracks in the seemingly wholesome facade. In the years since Junyong started uploading videos, her content has been pretty consistent. Her setup was simple. Junyong would sit in front of a table, eat several dishes of food, and chat with her viewers. Sometimes, she'd film at restaurants or fast food places. Other times, she'd be accompanied by guests to keep things fresh.
So nice to see you.
I don't speak English.
잘 먹겠습니다.
However, like most mukbang content, the most eye-catching aspect were the mouth-watering platefuls of food.
안녕하세요, 여러분. 제가 오늘은 지금 양평에 왔는데 대왕 소뚜껑 닭볶음탕을 먹으러 왔어요.
Unfortunately, this meant it was easy for viewers to miss the warning signs of a young woman in need of help. Starting as far back as 2020, Junyong appeared to be wounded on multiple occasions just months apart. July 2020, Junyong can be seen with 2 bandages on her right hand. At a different angle, a smaller bandage and bruise can be seen on the side of her right arm. And in a particularly eerie foreshadowing, there is a moment an animal cries in the distance, to which Junyong then raises her left arm, revealing a large bandage.
뭔 소리야? 뭐가 우는데?
October 2020. Junyong's left arm has a transparent bandage covering a small injury. However, surrounding it are bruises. There is also another bruise on her right arm that's visible as she's moving around the bowls. November 2020. A large bandage is seen on Junyong's left arm, along with a massive bruise spanning towards the elbow as she tied up her hair.
잘 먹겠습니다.
February 2021. Junyong was seen with bandages on her right hand, as well as a small bruise on her right arm. In a different video from the same month, the wound looks awfully like a slash mark. April 2021. A small bruise can be seen on her right arm.
썸네일 한 번만.
May 2021. Junyong made a comment that appeared normal on the surface level, but in hindsight may have hinted at something more.
원래 친구가 많이 없어가지고.
August 2022. Her right hand suddenly appeared in a cast.
다 뚝뚝 끊어지는 거야.
September 2023. A fresh bruise can be seen on her right arm. With mounting evidence, it was clear something was deeply wrong. And although Junyong appeared to have a playful and innocent aura in her videos,
뭐야 이거? 나 나무젓가락 나 꺼낸 적이 없는데 이게 왜 있지 했네. 치킨보다 얘가 더 달다는 걸 내가 어떻게 알지? 이상하다.
longtime viewers noticed Junyong's behavior had changed. See, according to some, her behavior in her later videos was much different from her earlier live streams on Africa TV. Baby Junyong waiting for food. Mommy's here. eat a lot and grow big. One user even commented, Junyong seems a bit naive. It feels like a bear is doing all the work while a rich person is making money. Have the people working with her for her channel and business ever been revealed? Or does she have some agency? No matter how I look at it, she looks naive. How should I say this? And, as it would turn out, the internet's inkling that a dark reality loomed off screen
과 연어를 두고 싸우죠. 영리한 동물이 마지막까지 살아남는 세계죠.
wasn't so baseless after all. But what was Junyong hiding? On July 11th, 2024, Junyong shocked the world on a YouTube livestream entitled, I Will Tell You Everything. It wasn't like any of her previous live streams or videos. No food, no big sweaters, no video effects. Just her, the truth, and a team of lawyers. At first, people were confused. Are you okay?
She's sick?
Guys, someone translate. Cheer up, Junyong. It's okay. What happened? Are you sick? What's going on? And then, horrified. I'm really angry. Oh, it's so scary. It must have been so hard. This is horrible. We stand with Junyong. Lawyer, please protect Junyong. Please help her. I hope you punish them properly. It really hurts my heart. For the first time, Junyong revealed everything she'd kept hidden. 5 years living in hell she endured at the hands of her then boyfriend, who was also the CEO of her agency. And those injuries we saw earlier in her regular mukbang videos. Well, lawyers provided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Never seen before photo evidence showing serious injuries inflicted to Junyong's arm, neck, lips, and more. But these 9 images weren't all of it.
사실 이 사건에서 범죄 사실이 정말 많았거든요. 음성 파일만 3,800개 정도가 됐었어요. 그래서 사실 저희가 고소장을 작성하는데 3-4명의 변호사가 거의 한 달을 걸려서 고소장을 작성을 했고 음성 파일 3,800개의 사진에 포렌식 자료가 엄청 많았기 때문에 양이 정말 방대했거든요. 근데 그 모든 것들이 피해 사실이었고
The lawyer further shared just how serious this case was, explaining.
저도 사실 형사 전문 변호사이고 여러 가지 범죄 사건을 많이 하고 유명인들 사건도 많이 하지만 사실 이렇게 정도의 피해를 입는 사안은 정말 충격적일 정도로 피해가 정말 극심했고요. 일단 피해를 당한 기간도 길었고 피해 사실도 굉장히 많았던 것 같습니다.
The 45-minute live stream, however, was only the beginning. Junyong returned for 2 more videos on July 18th and August 1st, sharing over 80 more minutes of heartbreaking details, including audio recordings. While legal proceedings were already done privately in 2022, and her abuser passed away as of April of last year, it's only now, in 2024, that Junyong has finally been able to speak on her terms.
1년 동안 한 번도 불안하지 않은 적이 없었거든요. 그래서 제가 이렇게 덤덤하게 킬 수 있었고 말할 자신이 있었던 것 같아요. 제가 타이든 시작한이라도 이랬던 거에 대해서는 정말 실망하실 분들이 정말 많으실 거라고 생각해요. 너무 숨겨서 너무 죄송하고 진짜 얘기하고 싶지 않았었거든요. 그래서 진짜 숨겨서 본의 아니지 않지 내가 숨긴 거잖아. 그러니까 죄송하고.
But who was this ex-boyfriend who had frightened Junyong into silence? Initially, Junyong referred to her late ex-boyfriend as Mr. A, but she has since revealed his real name, Lee Dong-yeon. He wasn't just her abuser, he was her jailer. And it all started with an innocent decision to meet new people. Junyong explained she had taken a break from university at one point and decided to go to a hunting bar, a bar or club where people go with the intention of meeting new people, particularly to start romantic or casual relationships. This is where she met Dong-yeon, and their relationship blossomed. She claimed he was kind early on in their relationship, but later began showing violent tendencies and a special interest in her money.
연인이었을 때 전 대표는 어떠한 이유로 늘 돈을 원했었고 돈벌이의 수단으로 노래방을 돌아다니게 한 것이 업소 일의 시작이었습니다.
Junyong claimed Donghyun forced her to work at a hostess bar, where he also worked as a waiter. As an adult hostess, Junyong was paid to entertain and pour drinks for customers. She denied entertaining as an adult worker during her job, though Donghyun did try to make her work at seedier places so she could earn more money. Soon after, he started using DV towards her, isolating her from her friends and harming her with objects like umbrellas and other blunt items. At this point, you might be asking, why would Junyong stay in a relationship where she was basically enslaved? Was it as simple as ending the relationship? Well, she did. But Donghyun threatened to distribute compromising videos of her to her family, making it impossible for her to leave him. Even when they weren't dating anymore, Donghyun still leveraged these revenge tapes so he could maintain control. After a while, Junyong begged Donghyun to let her stop working at the hostess bar. In exchange, she found another way to earn money.
그래서 이제 돈은 그럼 어떻게 벌어다 줄 거냐고 얘기를 하길래 제가 옛날부터 방송 생각을 했으니까 이제 방송을 하고 싶다고 얘기를 했고 그리고 이제 방송으로 꼭 벌겠다고 얘기를 해가지고 이제 방송을 시작을 했고 그리고 방송 이후에도 사실 거의 매일 맞으면서 방송을 했었어요. 그래서 약간 진짜 얼굴은 티난다고 몸을 때린다거나.
That was when Junyong began making mukbang content, and what began as a desperate way for Junyong to stop working at an adult establishment soon became a massive success. All the while, the DV continued, to the point that Junyong had grown numb to the pain inflicted on her.
그것도 막 의자를 집어던지고 사람 멍들 정도로 그렇게 하는 게 그게 폭력이 아니야?
얘기하자. 내가 폭력이 아닌 게 아니고 내가 잘못을 안 했다는 게 아니야.
As her YouTube channel grew, so did her mistreatment behind the scenes. Donghyun, likely seeing the opportunity for control, had founded the Moon Rabbit Co. Ltd., an agency for Tzuyang, where he made himself CEO. Of course, involving more people in production didn't stop Donghyun from mistreating Junyong.
4년 동안 그랬어요. 4년 동안 제가 방송한 지 5년이 조금 넘었는데 얼마 전에 해결이 돼서 4년 동안 매일같이 사실 이런 일이 있었는데 제가 아무렇지 않은 척을 되게 잘해서 제가 잘못한 것도 있고요. 그래서 직원들 앞에서까지 저 때리고 그런 일들이 있었고.
Junyong's crew eventually discovered the DV and suggested filing a lawsuit. She resisted at first out of fear and shame. Matters would only become more tricky as Donghyun also allegedly threatened to hurt the employees who would get involved. Fortunately, these threats didn't stop them from helping Junyong take legal action. They gathered extensive evidence, including 3,800 files documenting the mistreatment, and filed criminal and civil complaints against Donghyun. In these chilling audio recordings, the violence is not just physical, it's psychological, with Donghyun repeatedly expressing murderous intentions.
내가 미안해.
지금 너 그냥 너랑 나 죽는 거야.
Donghyun's conversations became even darker when he spoke with his lawyer, attorney Choi, who we'll meet again later in the video. Donghyun openly discussed his plans to rob Junyong of everything, including her life.
돈도 다 뺏어야 되고 성노예로도 써야 되겠고
그래
그 다음에도 얘를 죽여야 되겠어. 아니
그거는-
나는 다 필요 없다. 얘를 왜냐면 궁극적으로 뭐냐면 얘를 결국은 죽여야 되겠다니까.
Yet other recordings revealed just how desensitized Junyong had become to Donghyun's abuse.
대단하지 않냐?
뭐가 대단?
네가 처음에 네가 때렸을 때 얼마나 덜덜 떨었는데 네가 얼마나 많이 쳐 때리면은 내가 이렇게 맞고서도 네한테 이렇게 바락바락한 줄.
And while her increasing indifference to violence seemed to have become a defense mechanism, it didn't stop her from occasionally pushing back.
뭘 했어? 아니 나는 아무것도 안 했어. 그리고 그게 문제가 될 방송도 아니야.
그래서 네가 그게 실패잖아. 내가 반대하는데 왜 그거를 물어보냐고. 그래 때려. 때려. 같은 소리 하지 마 그냥. 너무 굳이
Each instance of her standing up for herself against Dong-yun was met with more violence.
너는 지금 상하지 지금.
말이라고 하냐?
상하지. 나도 자존심 상해.
나도 자존심 상해. 내가 니도 동생이 나도 니 패고 싶어. 시켜보고 싶다고.
내가 오늘 봐라. 내가 진짜 패고 싶다.
나도 패고 싶어.
Even after all this, Junyong was forced to go on the internet, put on a bubbly personality, and entertain millions of fans around the world. But once the cameras, lights, and platefuls of food were put away, Junyong was forced to live through a nightmare once again.
방송하는 내내 아팠는데.
맞아 지금 너 때릴 데가 없어갖고
응.
좀 다칠까봐 좀 무서워서 너무 화나서 때리려다가도 좀 쉽게 해서 좀 힘 조절을 하게 되거든. 너무 많이 아팠겠다.
Violence, however, wasn't the only way Dong-yun had controlled Junyong for all those years. Dong-yun also subjected her to financial abuse by holding her YouTube earnings hostage and forcing her into an unfair contract where he reaped the majority of her earnings.
방송으로 그래도 좀 벌었었는데 이제 치킨 시켜먹을 돈이 없어서 방송할 때 먹을 치킨도 못 시키고 그랬었거든요.
Yes, Jung-young's profits from 2018 onwards were sent straight to Dong-yun, and the disgusting part, he took 70% of it.
신분증도 사실 제가 갖고 있지 못했고 그리고 그 계약서마저 사실 안 지켜서 그때 받았던 이제 계약서대로 한 게 아니라 정말 광고 수익은 하나도 받지 못했었거든요. 그래서 사실 뒷광고 얘기도 정말 많이 나오는데 제가 광고 수익을 그때 받아본 적이 없어요.
But couldn't Junyong turn to anyone in her life for financial support and eventually escape? Well, Dong-yun thought of that too, by isolating her from friends and family, leaving her no support system, except for the abuser himself. And don't forget, he had revenge tapes on her, making it even harder to walk away. There was one more important piece of data in this financial disaster: Junyong's social media accounts. It turns out, Junyong had little to no agency of her own social media accounts, as Dong-yun often used them, pretending to be her. Doing so likely allowed Dong-yun to post Junyong's content under his supervision, as well as manage income from her accounts, including advertising revenue. But isn't this behavior similar to financial advisors and content managers? Shouldn't it be nice to relieve that stress on someone else? Well, it would have been nice if he was educated in these fields. And it would have been nice if he didn't coerce her with blackmail and threats to have access to her accounts. And just like that, in just a few years, Junyong found herself in major controversy, likely due to Dong-yun's carelessness. In 2020, Junyong was called out for featuring undisclosed advertising and alleged tax evasion. Her name was even brought up by popular mukbanger Cham PD, who shared a list of influencers who allegedly took undisclosed sponsorships in their videos. Junyong denied any involvement in these bad practices, explaining, "I swear that I am innocent of any behind-the-scenes advertising, pretending that it is not an advertisement, editing videos after controversy arises, or tax evasion, and that I have no shame whatsoever while doing YouTube," and made the shocking decision to announce her retirement. To those who say I will definitely come back, you don't have to worry because I will never come back even if it means dying. I will stop posting in response to comments attacking the video with false information. Very few people noticed her morbid language was uncharacteristic of her, which in hindsight now makes sense due to her severe mistreatment. However, at the time, people theorized she would be back once her money ran out. And of course, Dong-yun couldn't let the revenue stream run dry. Despite Junyong announcing she had quit, Dong-yun still kept control of her social media. So when Junyong's reputation had improved,
He forced her to return to streaming again months later. But by this time, Junyong was basically just reading scripts and doing what she was told. But there was still one thing Dong-yun had to fix: Junyong's damaged reputation. So, he crafted a plan to make mukbanger Cham PD publicly apologize to Junyong during a live stream, effectively making it seem as if he lied about the undisclosed advertising incident. Naturally, fans turned on Cham PD and he faced over 80,000 hate comments, going as far as threatening him and his family. However, Cham PD was just the fall guy. The reason he took all the blame was even more insidious. Dong-yun allegedly admitted to Cham PD that he arranged for under-the-table paid promotions without Junyong's knowledge. But he told Cham PD if this was ever exposed, he would end himself and Junyong. By keeping quiet and making it appear like he had lied about Junyong, Cham PD had essentially saved her life.
선생님, 괜찮으세요?
저요?
네.
아이, 물론 괜찮죠. 어떻게 건강은 좀 괜찮아지셨어요?
아, 네네네. 아, 수유님, 너무 죄송해서 제가.
아, 죄송할 게 뭐가 있어요. 쯔양님이 마음이 너무 여리셔가지고 자꾸 죄책감이나 상처 받는 거 이런 거 진짜 이제는 안 하셔도 돼요. 왜냐면 정말 우리 기다려주시는 팬분들 있잖아요.
네?
네, 우리 팬분들 얼마나 쯔양님 사랑하고 좋아하는데 그분들을 위해서 앞으로 진짜 밝게 방송을 하시면 그게 진짜로 이게 가장 해피엔딩이고 우리 쯔양님을 위해서도 우리 지금 남아있는 많은 팬분들을 위해서도.
After so long, Junyong had reached her wit's end. She eventually offered Dong-yun all of her money so he would leave her alone. But it wasn't enough for Dong-yun, who believed that Junyong had him to thank for her entire career.
성에 안 찬다고 항상 하던 말이거든요. 4년 내내. 막 제가 너가 어찌됐든 방송한 건 나 때문이지 않냐고, 내가 너 돈 다 내 거고 앞으로 버는 돈도 다 내 거다 이런 식으로 항상 얘기를 했었는데, 그래서 이제 못 그러겠다고 얘기를 해서 제가 도저히 이제 너무 힘들어가지고.
Amid this nightmare, Junyong was SA'd for years by her own partner, Dong-yun. Dong-yun exploited her trust by secretly filming intimate moments between them. He used these videos to hold Junyong hostage. As revealed through heart-wrenching screenshots of their Kakao Talk conversations, Dong-yun demanded for intimacy each week. It's just you don't have that kind of chastity. Having intimacy once. Is it that difficult? I'll just take you from behind. If she refused, he demanded compensation. Then give me 50 million won each month. When Junyong told him that she couldn't come up with that money, he responded, then 30 million won, okay? Wouldn't it be 20 million won each? Because it's really difficult. Just take it off with your body. But was there any way for Junyong to escape? As some people questioned, couldn't she end the relationship? Well, it's not that simple. Over time, the trauma of repeated SA can create confusion, fear, and even attachment to the abuser, known as trauma bonding, where the victim feels psychologically tied to their abuser. This can even cause feelings of shame and guilt, leading the victim to wrongfully feel they are responsible for their mistreatment, which ultimately prevents them from seeking help or feeling they deserve better. In addition, relationships involving DV are also complicated to leave due to fear of increased violence upon the attempted departure. On top of all that, Dong-yun had a revenge tape of her, which could be used to blackmail and threaten her into cooperating with his desires. And guess what? Junyong did end the relationship, but that didn't stop the SA. Her legal team provided a horrific transcript of an audio recording of one of these SA instances, where Dong-yun is so forceful a snap can be heard. Junyong reportedly told Dong-yun to stop, even telling him she hated him at one point. But Dong-yun continued to be selfish and used intimidation to have his way, telling her to stay still or else he would impregnate her. Junyong was even collecting evidence seemingly as a last resort, but in one particular audio recording, Dong-yun caught on.
잔다가 쳐버리지 마. 어?
to which he confiscated her phone and dropped it in the toilet before proceeding to harm her in the bathroom. The rest of the audio is too heinous to play, featuring Junyong screaming for her life. Dongyun even threatened her that he would never leave her.
나 아파. 나 아프라고. 나 아프라고. 나 헤어졌어 오늘?
Further using the vulnerable situation to coerce her for money.
내 차선 좀 더 똑바로 해라. 알았어? 어차피 내 돈 관리 안 하니까 난네 부업도.
But Junyong managed to collect evidence throughout their relationship, so why hadn't Junyong come forward sooner? Tragically, Junyong's reputation was the very thing that kept her from reporting her case. Even if she came out as a victim, as a woman living in conservative South Korea, she would have likely been blamed and shamed. Like many Korean celebrities that get involved in huge scandals, her career would have been over and her reputation tarnished.
그리고 지가 강간당했다고 진술하러 가야 되는데 지문을 지가 파는데 그거 하겠어요?
Amidst the essay, Junyong faced another trauma. She became pregnant and had to get termination, allegedly under a fake identity. This too became a point of controversy when journalist Kim Se from Garoseto Research Institute, who claimed Junyong had the procedure under Dongyun's sister's name. Contrary to the reports, Junyong clarified she was instructed by Dongyun to disguise her identity with a hat and mask, ensuring she wouldn't be recognized, a fact Dongyun's sister corroborates by denying any knowledge of identity theft. As for her procedure, Junyong chose not to reveal this right away because it was a result of SA.
제 입으로는 말씀드리기가 어려웠고 그거는 지금도 마찬가지입니다.
But why was this all coming to light now? Junyong has repeatedly said in her recent statements that she had no intention of going public with her story. Clearly, something had changed, or rather, something pushed her to come clean. The question is, what could have forced her to reveal everything a year after things had finally settled? Well, even though it takes a lot of courage to publicly discuss personal trauma, there were those who could use her history against her. In Korea, cyber wreckers are basically YouTubers who spread false rumors and engage in blackmail to generate views and profit. They often disguise their harmful actions as forms of social justice. But how did Junyong become the target of these malicious channels? It goes a lot deeper than some hate comments online. Enter YouTubers Gujeya, Karakura, and Jungguchin. They were caught discussing how they could exploit Junyong's personal suffering for their own gain. And they were the entire reason why Junyong had come forward last July. Gujeya and Jungguchin were planning to expose her past as an adult hostess, an alleged school bully, and share the fact that Junyong was living with Dongyun, who was the CEO of her agency. Gujeya had even sent Junyong an email containing a video threat which brought up the old tax evasion allegations. At the time, when information about her former job, relationship status, and living situation were not known, this could have negatively impacted her reputation due to South Korea's exceptionally high standards for celebrities, especially females, who are often scrutinized more intensely than their male counterparts. This double standard means that even minor scandals can result in the end of a female celebrity's career, while male celebrities might recover more easily. Female idols are expected to embody purity, modesty, and decorum, making any scandal potentially career-ending, if not life-ending as well. This makes them a prime target for cyber wreckers, who profit off of celebrities' drama. But who was the source of such sensitive information? None other than Dongyun's lawyer, attorney Choi Sao.
예, 변호사님.
아이고 오랜만입니다.
네네네네.
Yes, attorney Choi had taken advantage of information he had learned from his time as Dongyun's lawyer and tried to sell the information to cyber wreckers. More audio recordings included conversations where the men talked about how they could force Junyong to retire if they leaked certain information. So they plotted to extort money from her, demanding a large sum of 200 million Korean won, or they would disclose details about her personal life, especially the tax evasion allegations. According to Junyong, Gujeya had already received 55 million won from her team in exchange for his silence.
PD님이랑 이사님이 이제 그때 구재영님을 만났었어요. 이제 그 후로 이제 좀 원치 않는 계약서를 쓰고 그 5,500만 원도 드리고.
But while it's not uncommon for cyberwreckers to engage in blackmail and extortion, why would a lawyer want to get involved? After all, since his client Dong-yeon had already passed, what did he have to gain by meeting with cyberwreckers? As it turned out, Attorney Choi also had plans to extort Tzuyang himself. When Dong-yeon had passed, Attorney Choi wanted Junyong to advertise the air fresheners he was selling on her channel, but when Junyong's team refused, he asked for money instead.
저 사업 좀 잘 도와주세요.
아니 그죠. 아니 제가 이게 뭐 제 마음 제가 무슨 제
아니, 한
마음대로
번만
하실.
도와주세요, 형님.
알겠습니다.
저는 딱 하나. 나는 대통령이 하고 싶고. 두 번째, 제가 하는 제품 그거 있잖아요. 정원이가 한 번만 이 고기 먹고 주는데 뿌려주 그게 어려워요? 한 번만 뿌려주면 좋지.
Junyong's team refused the deal, but feared retaliation from Attorney Choi, as he was also a journalist. So, Junyong paid him over 23 million Korean won. Attorney Choi had chalked this up as his retainer fee, when really, it was essentially a payment to buy his silence. Yes, blackmail, DV, and SA, Junyong had overcome it all. But now that she was faced with the aftermath, what was the mukbanger's next move? During her first live stream, Junyong's lawyers revealed all the charges that were filed against Dong-yeon: SA, assault, habitual threats, injuries, attempted extortion, attempted coercion, violations of the Act on Special Cases concerning the punishment of sexual crimes, and telecommunication media indecency. The latter is an existing law that is specifically against the use of revenge tapes. Unfortunately, the case against Dong-yeon was closed, ruled no right to prosecute, when he took his own life during the investigation. In a clear failure of justice, the damage to Junyong's life was already done. She was extorted out of approximately 4 billion won, and her mental and emotional suffering was immeasurable. As to her tax evasion allegations, Junyong repeatedly denied knowingly evading her taxes, as all her earnings were mismanaged by Dong-yeon during the entirety of her career. She also pledged to publicly disclose her financial records to prove her innocence. Even so, with her reputation and her personal matters still being discussed and distorted online, Junyong could not hide away just yet.
이제 조용하게 끝내고 싶었는데 이제 뭐 계속 얘기가 이런저런 막 얘기가 나오니까 말도 안 되는 막 추측도 너무 많고 허위사실이 사실인 것처럼 얘기가 돼가지고 사실 저는 괜찮은데 이제 가족 같은 좀 직원들한테 이체합계가 가더라고요. 막 직원들이 뭐 그런 거 아니냐 이러면서 의심하는 그런 내용들이 많아서 이제 제가 결심을 하게 됐고 그래서 조금 일부만 진짜 필요한 것들만 공개를 하기로 했어요.
With her abuser gone and cyberwreckers extorting her left and right, all she could do was to clear her name. In response to the growing scandal, Gujeya, Jungkook-jin, and Karakura were banned from earning revenue from their YouTube channels. However, Gujeya denied receiving any money, while also promising to defend Junyong's rights. I'm sorry for not being able to protect Junyong's right for the incident to be forgotten. I am clearly stating that I swear to the heavens that I've not done anything to be ashamed of, and will do my best to stay at Junyong's side to protect her rights. Karakura claimed he was just joking around when discussing the blackmail scheme. He also said if he knew what Junyong was going through, he would not have gone through with it.
구지영님과 통화하면서도 쯔양님의 가슴 아픈 사연을 알았더라면 아무리 사적인 통화라고 할지라도 절대 그렇게 가벼운 언행으로 말하지 않을 것이지만.
As for Jungkook-jin, he mentioned in his apology video that he also regretted taking the money and joking around with Karakura and Gujeya.
결과적으로 2023년 2월 27일에 300만 원을 구지영님으로부터 입금받았습니다. 그래서 피해를 입은 쯔양님께 진심으로 사과드립니다.
But it was too late for I'm sorry. Junyong's legal team took action on July 16th, and in no time, the Suwon District Prosecutor's Office sought arrest warrants for both Karakura and Jungkook-jin on charges of extortion, blackmail, and coercion. This move came after a thorough investigation, including a search and seizure operation. Karakura was arrested on August 2nd, with all his previously uploaded videos on private to this day. An arrest warrant for attorney Choi was also requested, but it was denied. Junyong's legal team also filed a complaint against CEO Kim Soo-hye for spreading false information about Junyong and her associates, namely her lawyer Kim Tae-eun. They formally accused Soo-hye of intimidation, coercion, and violating the Information and Communications Network Act. Despite Kim Soo-hye being the first channel to expose the cyber wreckers, she was allegedly spreading even more misinformation about Junyong, to the point of calling her a liar and blaming her. Junyong's legal team further added, considering that they appear to have conspired with attorney Choi, the main perpetrator of this incident, we have decided to sue them because we can no longer tolerate their harmful acts. Even though Junyong was physically free from Dongyun's mistreatment, she wasn't completely free from his manipulation just yet. No, things would only grow more complicated as newer revelations surfaced. So, what had Junyong's ex risen from the dead to claim? In the weeks following Junyong's exposed live streams, a portion of Dongyun's death note was released to the public. Within the portion of the letter released, Dongyun firmly denied any involvement in leaking information about Junyong to the cyber wrecker Karakura. It is ridiculous for me to talk about the past because I am in a state of disability. I sincerely reflected on and regretted it without having any resentment against Junyong, and wish Junyong to be happy. While his note appeared remorseful, it's clear his actions had a completely different story. Still, since it's been confirmed that attorney Choi leaked the information, Dongyun's denial might hold some truth.
전 대표한테 제보를 받은 게 아니고.
아 그래요?
네, 이게 뭐 약간 그 이해관계가 엮여 있어요.
And while Junyong had previously mentioned that Dongyun constantly spread exaggerated and false stories about her, the note has only made it harder for Junyong, as it painted a sympathetic picture of her abuser to the public. This situation is further complicated by issues in the South Korean justice system, especially when it comes to gender-related crimes. For example, in Korea, men often get lighter sentences, with courts citing mitigation factors like stress or provocation, which reduces the severity of their punishment, leaving victims like Junyong with little justice.
한 일이 있으니까요. 제가 억지로 한 거라고 해도 그렇잖아요. 제가 잘못한 거죠.
Despite everything she went through, Junyong remained apologetic, insisting on taking responsibility for her actions, even the ones that were forced onto her. But with the legal system failing to provide justice, who did Junyong have on her side to help her get through this difficult chapter? Junyong credited her survival to her lawyers and the support of her employees who helped her gather evidence for her case. Many of them had witnessed the mistreatment firsthand. Her producer, Moon, had even confronted Dongyun in the middle of an incident.
왜 때렸어? 어? 무슨 경찰 신고할게. 어? 다 끝내자. 잘못한 거 다 해. 그렇게 하자.
In the aftermath of all these revelations, fans all over the world have come out with messages of support. I admire how she stays kind to people and doesn't show irritation regardless of how she experienced cruelty for 4 years. You never know what someone is going through. Even though she was going through darkest of times, she still gave others happiness and hope. Live strong, Junyong. The hardship will pass soon. I hope that only good things will happen to you. There are more pretty and kind people. People who like and love you, so please shine brightly like you always have. Don't endure hardships alone. Others shared were emotional and apologetic for not noticing the red flags all these years. It was right in front of our eyes. Sorry for not realizing sooner. According to Junyong, these messages of support were a huge source of strength and happiness to her. Of course, as it goes with high-profile cases, there was still criticism. But what was it about Junyong's story that provoked this backlash? Well, as a consequence of the smear campaign against her, a portion of the internet still victim blames her, saying things like,
쯔양이 피해자 코스프레 하면서 제가 뭐가 화가 났냐?
It's actually her fault. She deceived her viewers and acted in a way that was socially unacceptable. She could have gotten a lot of praise if she had spoken out in the beginning. Even worse, some comments claim that she was lying and speaking ill of her now-deceased ex-boyfriend and his family, writing, "Her ex-boyfriend was the victim. Why give a fuck about former CEO's death? Why don't you just destroy his sister's family too? Adult workers, please stop playing the victim. What do you mean there was compulsion when you voluntarily spread your privates? Her ex-boyfriend Lee Dong-yeon was an angel and a benefactor. The owner of the adult establishment that Junyong worked at recently denied that Junyong was forced to work there, claiming workers are free to come and go as they please, even adding, "Her claims that she was forced is a lie. At the very least, I have never seen her ex-boyfriend threaten or abuse her while they work. It would have been obvious if she was forced." Journalist Kim Se-ye also called out Junyong for allegedly trying to manipulate viewers by relying too much on emotional appeal in her live streams with her lawyers. Also, seeming to add that there were unanswered questions about the situation. In her final statement video, Junyong is said to be still recovering from her damaged reputation because of cyber wreckers like Kim Se-ye. Still, not everyone agreed with the backlash, as one user addressed the critics. If you can't tell the difference between the victim and the perpetrator, then you shouldn't have written this post. How much do you have to inflict on the victim before they come to their senses? Stop it. I really hope Junyong sues everyone. So when victim blamers ask, why didn't Junyong just end the relationship? And shouldn't Junyong let Dong-yeon's family rest now that he passed away? These sorts of situations aren't easy to navigate, especially when you have a perpetrator like Dong-yeon, who used various methods to trap Junyong, such as financial dependency, intimidation, SA, revenge tapes, isolation, and likely much more. Victims can have various reasons that confuse the victim into staying in the relationship. That doesn't mean Junyong wasn't a victim because she didn't leave at the first sign of danger. In fact, when hearing all these recordings, it's proof that Junyong tried to fight back as best as she could. For years, she had to defend herself against her violent ex-boyfriend and CEO, who had all but isolated her from friends, family, and even staff. If it wasn't for the few people who looked out for her, Junyong's story might have come to an even darker end. Now that the truth has come to light, watching Junyong's earlier videos with this new perspective is nothing short of heartbreaking. But this isn't just Junyong's story, it's a reflection of a much larger issue that victims face time and time again when the justice system fails to hold their abusers accountable. Therefore, Junyong is not approaching this matter not as a personal issue, but as a representative for many others in similar situations. If this story has moved you, don't let the conversation end here. Share it, talk about it, and take a stand against the forces that allow such tragedies to unfold.